We have Marcy Serdanya. And from Daegu, Mr. Erwin Bikelio. From Kasan, we have Mr. Anthony Carl Daunes. And from the Human Rights Philippine Organization, Mr. Moreno Esla. And we are supposed to have a representative from Incheon and SRD, but it seems that they are still on the way, stuck in traffic. It's Jenny Kim and an attorney from HRD Korea. I'd like also to introduce to you our resource persons. We have from JCMK, a representative of the Secretary General. JCMK means Joint Committee with Migrants in Korea. It is a national network group consisting of member organizations which mainly focuses and works on migrant issues. We have Ms. Lee Kyung-soo. And we also have an attorney, an expert on a major in international law and migrants and refugees issues. We have a Korean lawyer working with the Korea Public Interest Lawyers Group, or KONGAM, Attorney Phil Q. Hwang. And of course, we have our most beloved labor attaché of the Philippine Overseas Labor Office, Ma'am Kelly Bai. I'd like also to introduce the presence or acknowledge the presence of some friends from the Hewadong Police, Mr. Ong. And they need to help us in some interpretation works or job this afternoon. Mr. Han, who will volunteer from our office. I'd like to give you Doc Emily for the rundown of the program this afternoon.
Thank you, Father Alvin. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. At tulad po ng nabanggit ni Father Alvin, yung ating pagtitipon ngayong hapon ay binubuo ng ilang mga layunin. At nagbigay na po siya ng konting introduction. Pagkatapos po nito, supposedly magkakaroon tayo ng presentation on EPS policy by Ms. Jenny Kim, one of our guest speakers, pero maaaring nasa daan pa po siya. Later on, we'll have the presentation of statements from the different representatives of the different communities that were called by Father Alvin a while ago. And then we'll have some messages from our resource speakers, and after which, we will have the open forum. So, mabibigyan po kayo ng pagkakataong magtanong, subalit meron tayong mga facilitators for the Q&A later. So, kung pwede, habang tayo po ay nakikinig, ilista na natin yung ating mga katanungan. At baka naman yung tanong nyo ay masagot na rin mamaya. Kaya kung ganon, hindi na kailangan pong ulitin pa yung tanong. Okay? And then after the open forum, we'll have the planning and tasking, the formulation of unified statement, and then the campaigns for support, which is our, supposedly, the final output of this gathering this afternoon. And then we'll end with the conclusion and of course, the synthesis. So yun po yung mangyayari ngayong hapong ito. So, at this point, we'd like to thank you for coming. Sana hanggang sa matapos yung forum natin, nandiyan pa rin kayo, nakaupo or nakatayo. Salamat po. So now we are ready for our presentation of statements. Unahin po nating tawagin ang ating representative from the Filipino EPS Workers Association. Palakpakan po natin si Mr. Marty. Marty Sardenya.
Thank you po, Dokens. Yung statement ng FEWA. First, I would like to thank Father Alvin and the HFCC for organizing this event with our association, the Filipino EPS Workers Association. I would like also to thank our resource persons, headed by our labor attaché, Labat Feli, Mr. Phil Q. Hwang of KONGAM, or the Korea Public Interest Lawyers Group, Ms. Lee Kyung-soo of JCMK, and our fellow presenters, Toned, Sir Erwin, and Sir Moreno. The issue on contract extension has been raised and discussed at the Filipino Online Forum. Many in those discussions are speculations and false rumors that continue to circulate among Filipino migrant workers or overseas Filipino workers, particularly the EPS workers. So we decided to come up with an online survey to get the pulse and gauge the perception of OFWs on the issue. We now have more than 200 respondents of the survey, and in the January issue of our newsletter, Silya Pinoy, that was official newsletter, we came out with an editorial and initial findings of the survey. This statement that I am about to share in this forum is informed and reflects the sentiments of the many Filipino workers anxious and concerned of their working contract. We, Filipino migrant workers, came here to Korea to realize our dreams of a better life for our families, provide good education to our children, and save for our capital to use for business when we go back home. Through our remittances, our country benefits to the Korean won that we send. We came to Korea to find a decent job that is lacking in our country. Although we have jobs here, but we are confronted with so many problems and challenges. In particular, the Philippine the employment permit system that serves as Korea's labor policy still needs a lot of improvement. This law has caused many of our compatriots to become undocumented because of its stringent provisions, thus making us migrant workers vulnerable to all forms of discrimination, abuses, and our rights not protected and granted even for minor errors. Default and lapses on the law that most of the time is not even our own doing but brought about by the negligence and lack of knowledge on the EPS law of our company officials. But despite all this, some of us have shown loyalty to our companies by working straight for 3 to 5 years, have proven our skills, resourcefulness, and initiative that we have won the admiration and confidence of our subordinates. Like most of us, they are now concerned of the future of their medium, small businesses without us. Well-trained and skilled in our jobs as well as familiar with the Korean language and culture. This year, many of us are going to finish our contract, but not all of us are planning to go back home. Korea will be confronted anew with a big number of undocumented migrant workers. Should it not address this problem and revise the law to avert this looming crisis? This trend is being confirmed by 90% of our survey respondents. EPS workers need work contract extension. A 4-year and 10 months contract is not enough. It is very short. It is not time for us to save and provide for our kids' education. We propose that contract should be extended. Better still, to allow us to work for as long as we are capable and our companies needs us. It is high time that the current EPS law should be revised and migrant workers should be provided with a working visa instead. There's a need to review and update the bilateral MOU, particularly on age limit. We believe that age requirement is a form of discrimination. Even the Korean government has now a law that addresses this issue. International norms also discourages this kind of practice. This age cap should therefore be removed and allow us to work for as long as we are mentally and physically fit to work and remain productive. Our sadyang needs are still in need of us. Our continued presence will also sustain their businesses. It prevents them from all the hassles of paperwork and additional burdens on training a new set of workers who are unfamiliar with work, culture, and language. Recognizing the need for gradual transition on work skill transfers of current workers with the new will be more beneficial and more practical. We strongly believe that not only through the contract extension that Korean government will be able to prevent migrant workers from becoming undocumented. Allow us migrant workers to work for some more time here in Korea. The need to implement contract extension is necessary. We appeal to the Korean government, which is vested with political powers and will, to address a potential crisis in the increase of undocumented migrant workers. We call on the Korean government to take heed and listen to the voice of migrant workers. Migrant workers are your partners in developing and sustaining small and medium businesses of the Korean people. We migrant workers need work. We want to continue working here in Korea. We want to work and be respected with our rights as decent and documented migrant workers. We call on the government to realize that contract extension is the short-term solution. The long-term solution is addressing all these kind of labor problems. It's the issuance of more comprehensive working visa to migrant workers instead. We appeal to the Philippine Embassy and the Philippine Overseas Labor Office to actively support this initiative by migrant workers and continue to push the agenda and interest of OFWs for better working terms with Korean government on contract extension. And that is, this issue should also be brought up to the Philippine President Noynoy Aquino's support as well. We appeal to the Korean civil society, the church, and the international organization to help promote our cause. We appeal to the Filipino migrants and the whole Filipino community to join us this cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sardenia, Philippine EPS Workers President. Next one presenter is Mr. Irvin from Tegu.
Paano po namin ito ginawa noong 2010? Ako po ay kasalukuyang hindi na chairman ng DEGU pero nakatasan po akong mag-presenta sa hapong ito. So, sa ngayon po ako ay isang global intern ng Korean Airlines kaya mapapansin yung mukhang lalapag ko lang ng aeroplano. Summary of issues and concerns, action taken and alternative solution made for the year 2010 to Daegu EPS workers. Number 1, issue and concern in Daegu is runaway employees without passport and travel documents. What action we have taken is that we endorse with counseling staff of Daegu Catholic Workers or the CWC, the Migrant Center we call in Daegu, and the Philippine Overseas Labor Office or the POLO. The alternative action we have taken also was to endorse with the Officer for Assistance to Nationals or the ATN of the Philippine Embassy for the processing of proper documents if needed to go home. Second is that released employees with no job. What we have taken is that we refer to Foreign Service Office that offers job in Daegu, help search job via the internet. We recommended also to friends that need job. So alternative action, some job postings are available at Polo, so we call them. And the nearest community leaders who are also offering job, we refer them. Number 3 issue and concern is that the visa extension process, we check with the immigration office the updates. And then the alternative action is we call the Polo for the updates. The fourth one is to report the birth and travel documents. Some of our workers are unfortunately hindi kasal pero nagkakaanak dito sa atin sa Korea. So meron po tayong mga nasa hospitals, inilalabas ko sila ng hospital na walang mga pambayad. So karamihan po doon ay nagpapauwi ng bata at kailangan ng report of birth at travel documents. We check also the registration procedure of the nearest city or provincial office as required by the Philippine Embassy Consular Office. So marami po sa ngayon ang nagpapauwi na ng bata sa Daegu. Isang hospital lang po at isang doktor ang kausap ko at yung social welfare din po doon para mabigyan sila ng diskwento kung hindi man libre sa panganganak. Ang ikalima po ay change of workplace. Marami po sa nagkakaroon ng problema ngayon ay yung mga bagong dating. So karamihan po sa kanila ay hindi alam kung saan pupunta. At kung magpapalipat po sila ng trabaho, hindi po nila alam kung saan sila lalapit. As far as Paju, Mokpo, nakakarating po ang tawag sa aming opisina. So we refer to Migrant Center na malapit kasi meron silang mga kabatch sa Daegu na doon din po nagtatrabaho. So ito lang po yung ilan sa mga ginawa namin sa 2010 at meron pang mga the five major issues lang po yung tinakal namin with the action taken and the alternative action given to them. So that's it. Maraming salamat po.